to perform as part of the competition. And he did this very, very right at the time of what's going on. Time relevant.
Spoken word.
At the end of it, the judges all stood up, which nobody did yesterday, and were left almost speechless. The judges were left speechless.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the audio, and then we're going to have a conversation about some of the content in his spoken word poetry.
All right, we got Dr. DrUmarJohnson on the line with us. Doc, you there?
He's listened to it.
He's listening.
So
all right,
he's listening right now, and we'll bring him in on the conversation after we play it here.
All right, let's do it. Let's take a listen.
When I'm up here on stage, they call me Brandon. When I'm with my homies, they call me B, and when I'm with the ladies, let's just say they call me Taken because I'm already happily spoken for. But when I'm back at home, my mama, she called me Pookie. And though I'm not afraid to admit it, my mother calls me Pookie at like the most inopportune moments. For instance, today, on my way here to America's Got Talent, my mom screamed out the front door, "Make sure that you call me when you get there." Pookie. And like, I get why my mother says it out of courtesy, but to be real, I don't understand why my mom's so concerned with my safety, praying for me as I leave the house on a daily, because I'm just a young man who has faith in Jesus. The same way that stars have faith that space will protect them from this galactic bully we call gravity, who longs to turn their stardust splendid spectacle for passerbyers to watch in awe of its depth. So yes, I never really understood the issue. And then I went on Facebook, and I realized that my mama loved me the same way every mother loved their son, fearfully. Because normally, death don't really bother me. I mean, I'm from Southside Stockton. I'm all too familiar with how some family reunions only ever take place on graveyard grass, and how a hole can be a safe haven for a soul in this mortal game of hide and go seek. But there is something so different about Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, and the countless others. And as I stared at that screen, I couldn't help but think I was looking at a mirror image of myself being choked out for merely existing, or for daring to be more than 3/5 of what them folk thought them to be. Or maybe it was simply due to their hue, and in that moment I better understood my black mother's greatest fear was every time I leave her home, on the other side of my phone will no longer be her son, but be America's next most popular hashtag, accompanied by a video of her young star being gunned down by gravity as my stardust has turned splendid spectacle for passerbyers to watch in awe of my death. So yes, my mother's greatest fear is that I won't return home breathing, blood pulsing through these veins enough to still be her Pookie. And my mama warned me, "Son, don't you dare get caught at the wrong place at the wrong time with that wrong-colored skin, because those 3 strikes, they lead to pine box convictions, and I need you to return home my Pookie again." So dear Mom, I promise you this, I will do everything in my power to make it back home to you. But if I don't, just know you was the very last thing on my mind. And I will always be your Pookie.
All right, that was Brandon Leak last night, America's Got Talent. Very powerful, emotional. You can go to WVON.com. Check it out. We have that full performance on there. Also, WVON's Facebook page. You can go there and check it out if you missed it. Obviously very powerful. Let's bring Dr. DrUmarJohnson in on this. Doc, good hearing from you again. It's been a while. Give me your thoughts on what you just heard there and how powerful that spoken word piece was.
Good Garvey Day to you. I thought it was powerful. I thought it was very well done. The question, though, that must be asked is, to whom is it being directed? And I say that to say that I believe it should be directed to us, the African American community, more so than white America, because I believe that our youth and black people in general are growing increasingly desensitized we are increasingly becoming desensitized to the violence and the fratricide and the murders that take place in our community, to the point that many of us just look right past them. We pay attention to the police killings, and we should, but I don't see us paying just as much attention to the black-on-black killings, which we also should, as opposed to directing that message to white America, who has been engaged in the genocide and extermination of black people for 4 centuries. So I think they quite understand it, but I think we need to once again refresh our memories about what it means to take a black life.
Yeah, you think about it, Doc and Kimberly. You know, we have gone through a generation, if not of 2, of this kind of violence in the African American community that has been brought to us in living color. You know, because we have the internet, we have social media now over the last 15 years. We have the word travels now through the internet. Videos go viral. So we've got, a generation, a half generation here that this violence is all they know, because it comes to them every single day and in living color. And to your point, yeah, we have become coarsened to it. We have become numb to it, and people, we don't react to it in our community, maybe the way that we should. But when white people say what you just said, though, Dr. Johnson, black people say, "Hey, wait, don't combine the two." We're talking about police brutality. We're talking about police, law enforcement killing black people. You know, black. Now, if you want to talk about black on black crime, that's a whole different conversation. So when white folks throw that out at us, now we push back on them. We push back and say, no, we're not going to mix these two up.
And I agree with that. We should not mix those two up. And I would likewise push back against white America for trying to interject or distract away from police genocide to black on black fratricide. And it's not a contradiction, nor is it hypocritical to do so. The reason white America cannot initiate the conversation on black crime is because they created the structural as well as the systemic variables that give rise to black on black crime. So when you look at the miseducation, they control that system. You look at the economic castration, they control that system. You look at mass incarceration, they control that system. So although they may not have pulled the trigger that killed Ray or Mike, they created the conditions and they controlled the structural opportunities that gave rise to the reason Mike felt the need to take Ray's life. So although not directly responsible for black on black crime, they are very much indirectly responsible for black on black crime, and that's why they cannot initiate that conversation.
All right, 773-591-1690. Dr. Umar Johnson is our guest. Phone lines are open. Rick, hold on. Your call's coming up first. Robin Lewis has WVON News on the way right now.